Adrian Wojnarowski of Yahoo Sports is reporting that the Kings and Calipari have talked about Calipari taking over the whole operation, not just coaching, but also being in charge of personnel, the GM job, whatever you want to call it. Calipari has tweeted out, not a denial that he's talked to the Kings, but that he is definitely staying at Kentucky. The bigger question is here, how safe is George Karl? It obviously means that the owner is not in love with keeping him.
Would Calipari leave Kentucky, where he's got another number one recruiting class?
Yeah, but he's been offered other jobs.
Yeah, he tweeted out that
jobs with better organizations. Yeah.
But what's different about this one is other offers where we would like for you to become our coach.
Yeah.
This one is you would be in charge of all basketball operations. Now, you're talking about George Karl. Let's throw Vlade Divac into that mix, because was it, 15 minutes ago that he took over as the head?
Yeah.
At least maybe 15 days ago or something. I think that's the only way Calipari would leave Kentucky. And I think that the other thing you didn't bring up is that the offer would be in the range of $10 million a year.
He's making almost that much at Kentucky.
He's making 7.5.
Yeah, around 8.
Yeah,
right around 8. But then you include endorsements and everything else he makes from camps and things like that. But my guess is he's around $10 million already. Why would John Calipari, who runs arguably the best, if not one of the top 2 or 3 professional programs in college sports, one of the best programs in all of sports, where he is a national contender every year, where he's already making probably close to $10 million a year. Why would he leave the beautiful bluegrass of Kentucky to go to Sacramento to work for one of the most dysfunctional organizations in all of sports? Why would he do that? That makes no sense to me. Well, if you're a first-year coach, Woody, if you're a guy who's never been a head coach in the NBA or a general manager in the NBA, I can understand you taking the Sacramento job. If you're an established coach with a track record of success and you're already in a good position and a well-paying position, why would you leave that position to go to the other?
Can I ask you a question first?
Sure.
As the most grounded, sane person in the entire world, self-proclaimed, you didn't ask me a question. You gave me an answer. Is this Jeopardy?
No, it was a question, but it was rhetorical. It was rhetorical.
I feel like I'm on Jeopardy.
I'm really
what
not asking
is
for your
the Sacramento Kings job for $200, Alex? Well, we know what you're. It's like, why in the world would you ever leave? I'm placed in a position where I can't respond to that. I'll give you 3 or 4 reasons. Who will now be the 2 biggest stars of the Sacramento Kings?
John Calipari and DeMarcus Cousins.
And who would be the 3rd? Les Shapiro.
Willie Cauley-Stein.
Oh, thank you very much. So you got 2 players from Kentucky.
My guy.
Isn't it possible that you could probably get 2 or 3 more? I mean, you could
Sure.
go out and there are Kentucky players running amok throughout the NBA. You could probably get 2 or 3 more of them that he's already coached.
Probably.
So you would be coaching a lot of guys. Don't you think he would get along with DeMarcus Cousins?
Oh, sure.
They got along together.
Well, let's face it. The basis for this move by the Kings owner is that George Karl wanted to get rid of their star player, who is finally coming into his own, DeMarcus Cousins. But Calipari would want to keep him because he coached him in college, and they get along very, very well.
Okay. Is it my turn now?
The owner wants Karl gone because George doesn't like Cousins and wants to deal him.
Okay, I'm trying to answer your first question. So my first answer was you got 2 players that will be your star players that played for him in Kentucky. Number 2, challenge in life. He is, well, don't start making faces and stuff. You ask me, if you don't want to know my answer, move on. Let's go on to the next one. Okay? He was totally right. I don't need to participate in this conversation.
I sit here like a gentleman for 7 minutes when you do Woody's World. I say nothing while you go on and on and on.
Well, that's a
I
segment.
talk for 35
I
seconds,
didn't know that
and you act like I'm hijacking the show.
I didn't know that the big stuff was an extension of more of less.
Am I supposed
less of Woody?
Am I supposed to agree with everything you
say?
No,
but you started, and then you asked me somewhere there was a question. I'm trying to answer it, and you're stepping all over my face.
Make a case.
Okay, I did. All right. What are their 2 biggest stars? Take 2. What are their 2 biggest stars other than Calipari?
Players, DeMarcus Cousins and Willie Cauley-Stein, 2 former Kentuckians.
Okay. Number 2, wouldn't it be a great slogan to say, Cal, that's his nickname, John Calipari is Cal, right? Cal to no Cal.
That's okay. Yeah.
You'd like that, would you? On billboards?
Sure.
Cal has come to no Cal. Oh, wow.
Or if he doesn't come, it could be no Cal.
Yeah. Okay. See, but we got a slogan going on here. Number 3, he's won championships. He failed in the NBA.
Yes.
He wants to prove he can be an NBA coach and a successful one and win a championship. Okay. So the fourth part of that is he's the director of basketball operations, so he can get whoever he wants to be there. He can make all the decisions. That owner would agree who is an interference. We thought the Aloof brothers were aloof. Not very good.
Bad.
Oh, well, I'm going with your theme here. that if the owner stayed out of the way, and that's what he'd have to agree with, that John Calipari would be like in Kentucky. He would be the guy that runs everything. Okay, number 5, that if you have those guys on your team and you bring in your system, they already know your system. And as I said, you get a couple other guys, you're running the Kentucky system. A play. So he trades for Derrick Rose, maybe. Or he goes out and gets Towns somehow. And
Anthony Davis is a free agent after this year.
I mean, there's
a former Kentucky guy.
There's all these possible.
Yeah, but it's still.
But they're challenges.
It's still
Why
Sacramento.
do you do things in life? Money's already taken care of. $10 million a year. Okay, that's a going price for it. So the money's not. So it's challenge. It's doing something that maybe you failed at before. It's doing something where you're in a comfortable situation with players you've been with that you've trained. It's being totally in charge. It's probably being, we'll give you part of the ownership. That wouldn't surprise me that, okay, we'll give you 5% of the ownership. That adds up to
I think Calipari has enough of a challenge, Woody. He had the best team in basketball last year and lost in the championship game.
Here's the other thing.
He has to keep the Kentucky fan base happy year after year.
Okay, well, I'm just going to give you my final. They're coming with a new, we heard about it on the show, they're coming with a new arena, not this coming year, but the next year. So he would be there on the ground floor of when they're trying to recapture some magic, no pun intended, that Sacramento had for years under Rick Adelman. Would you agree?
Yes.
To bring that back and be a part of building a program like he did in Memphis, like he did in Connecticut, like he actually brought Kentucky back to the forefront of doing that in pro basketball with a new arena, a new idea with, people don't really think about this, Golden State, you're really big on Golden State's crowds. Sacramento crowds were great for years because they had nothing else. They have nothing else except the state capitol. And they had to put up with the Terminator, or whatever his name was.
Schwarzenegger.
Okay, and they've had to put up with crap, and they get a chance. I mean, it's a better fit than you think it is, rather than taking.
No.
I mean, the
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not a good fit. I'm not saying there aren't great.
Offered weren't any good.
I'm not saying they're not great challenges for him, and I'm not saying he's a guy who doesn't want challenges. I just think he's got enough challenge in Kentucky. He's got a great situation. He's making a great salary. He gets the best players every year. Why would he go to Sacramento? The Harmony Foundation is Colorado's premier treatment program
on top of the
for
world
drug and alcohol addiction.
You worked for Channel 31. You had a successful talk show. You were one of the best known people. I would listen to you on the radio where they quoted you saying, "I'm something" or "I'm somebody." Was there something like that?
It was a line from the Will Ferrell movie Anchorman. I'm kind of a big deal, and I didn't say it.
You were kind of a big deal.
They played the sound.
Why in the world would you take a show where you had to work with me every day and start from the ground up in a basement somewhere?
That's a great question.
We do things for challenges. I challenge myself every day to get out of bed. So I think you could challenge
You did a good job today, by the way, with that. Harmony Foundation, located just outside of Estes Park on a very private, very nice 45-acre mountain campus.
Do I get to jump in here?
It is insurance friendly. So visit harmonyfoundationinc.com.